Flynn Bowyer, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Really well, thank you, mate. And thank you for taking up my proposal for coming onto the podcast.
No, thank you for having me.
I've been looking forward to this moment, and we are going to be very well censored because you and I have both got a personal and a professional relationship. We're going to be teetering on both of those, and I think that everyone needs to hear it because
100%.
We've for those that don't know, Flynn, person, friend, you're a brother, you're an uncle, you're all of the above. You've had a life outside of the professional world. So tell me more about your life and where you started and what got you to this point.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on.
Pleasure.
It's we've had a few conversations about this since it was getting off the ground.
Yes.
It was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And it was something I always wanted to jump on. So thanks for having me.
Of course.
Where it started, obviously where I am now, I'm 24 years old and I work alongside you in real estate.
Yeah.
I was very lucky where I grew up. I had an exposure to a very small country, regional town, regional New South Wales in Walgett.
Yes, Walgett.
A massive population of 2,300 people. So,
wow. So that's small town.
Yeah.
Small town.
A lot of small town mentality, all those sorts of things. So,
okay.
Which I'm really benefiting from now in terms of, work ethic, being able to deal with everyone from different backgrounds and those sorts of things as well.
Yeah.
Born in Dubbo, grew up in Walgett, New South Wales, played a lot of sport, grew up on 100 acres, so lots of shooting, motorbike riding, fishing, all that sort of fun stuff.
Yes.
Moved to Tamworth in 2016, so 10 years now.
Yeah. And where did you do most of your schooling, early life?
Early life was in Walgett.
Walgett?
Primary school right through.
Right through?
Lucky enough to go to boarding school at Kinross in Orange.
In Orange?
Yeah.
So how many years did you spend in Orange?
I went there in 2014.
Okay.
For 14, 15, 16, and then one term of 2017. My parents shifted over here.
So you did most of your secondary at Kinross?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then became a day student here at Car Rossi and finished 11 and 12.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So you did your schooling over 3 different locations.
Yeah. 3 very different locations.
Yeah.
So obviously Walgett Primary School, fell into boarding school and then finished here. I was very lucky to finish here because a lot of my friends and mates that I have now, are from when I went to school and finished school here. If I didn't finish school here, I probably wouldn't know as many people as what I do now.
Yeah, got you.
Because, year 11 and 12 is an important stage of your life.
Yes.
You're 17, 18.
Yes.
And, if I finished school at boarding school and came back to Tamworth, I probably wouldn't have been exposed to, going to school with different people and those sorts of things.
I suppose you would have built, you would have met people along the way, but that last couple of years at school, you were able to build a bit of a network.
Yeah, 100%.
For you here.
Yeah. At an important stage of your life as well. I played school footy. I played for Pirates, who I'm back playing with now.
Back with Pirates.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back home.
Yes.
And
back on the ship.
Back on the ship. Which, excited for that.
Yeah,
but,
cool.
That allowed me to start my network here in Tamworth.
Very cool. Okay. So do you keep in touch with many of your mates over the years or
from Orange?
Yeah, just from Orange and
a lot of my friends that I was at boarding school in Orange with have gone the other way to Sydney.
Okay.
A large number of people have gone to Sydney. To answer your question, I do stay in touch with a couple of them.
Yeah.
But, at that age when you're 18, a lot of people split off and do their own things. And
of course,
as you know now, once you start working and the weeks go by, they turn into months and years, and you look back and you go, geez, I haven't caught up with anyone. So
people drift away as well and do their own thing. And that would be an escalation, I suppose, being from boarding school. Everyone's from somewhere else, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And secondary here, built your network here. And so finished secondary. And then you've done a bit of traveling the world too.
Yeah, of course. So during year 12, I went on a rugby tour to Canada and America.
In year 12?
In year 12.
That would have been awesome.
So I was fresh 18, went over there for a summer, in
Wow.
the summer. I came back and one of my mates, good mates, said he was moving back to Canada for a working holiday.
Yes.
And I went, I've just come back from Canada. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I went, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm coming with you.
Okay.
So next minute, fresh 18, my mate was a year older, so he was 19, moved over to Canada and lived there for a few months. So
Yeah, wow.
yeah, that's sort of what happened after school.
And you, I suppose, a bit of a baptism of fire as a young person. You went to a completely different country across the other side of the world, and that would have taken a lot of guts.
Yeah, of course. I was definitely nervous.
Yeah.
I'd had a taste of boarding school, but boarding school and living in a different country, although they do have their similarities, they're quite different as well, in terms of you can't just go home for a weekend or whatnot. But I was definitely thrown in the deep end there.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot of my life lessons, actually.
Yes.
I think I was on $14 an hour doing housekeeping, which I'd gone from this rugby persona in year 12 and partying and having fun, and then next minute I was cleaning rooms in a hotel in Canada, which was quite a change. But I learned my work ethic and saving my pennies and those sorts of things. So
yeah, so I suppose being self-sufficient, being in a different place, you can only rely on you. And I suppose like you indicated, if you're over it, you're like, oh, I'm going to go back to my parents now. It's like, no, mate, you're in a different country.
Yeah.
So you had to do a lot of growing up in a short space of time.
Yeah.
Do you feel like those life lessons helped you to now where you are in your professional life?
Of course, yeah. Obviously, like I mentioned before, growing up in a small country town, it allowed me to interact with so many people with different backgrounds. And over there, it was quite similar.
Okay.
Canada's got a large variety of different nationalities and those sorts of things, which I worked with.
Okay. So you got to meet people from different places, different worlds.
Yeah. Yep. And budgeting money as well. Like I was on such small money and I was doing a job that I hated and I just wanted to have fun and socialize. But yeah, it definitely taught me a few lessons. Like I went from living at home with my parents to having dinner on the table every night and playing sport and all these sorts of things and having your washing done, and next minute you live in another country and you have to do all these things yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely learn a little bit of discipline and appreciation for my parents as well.
So for young people, I suppose, listening, there'll be thousands of people listening to this, young people that are embarking on that journey. So would you encourage them to consider maybe taking a risk and traveling the world?
Yeah, of course. Like I think I've said this to you off camera as well.
Yeah.
I still like traveling because you still get that sense of figuring out who you are to a degree. Yeah. Not like you're soul searching, but when I find when I travel overseas by myself or go on holidays by myself, you work out a lot about yourself, which is really cool. Yeah. So if anyone was considering traveling or going overseas, I would strongly recommend it. You see people, and I've had friends in the past that go on a gap year and then they come back and they're a completely different person.
Yeah.
It's a prime example of you grow so much in a short period of time in a different environment.
Yeah.
It's, obviously it's out of your comfort zone and that's where most of your growth happens. So
very good advice. Very good advice. Now I want to talk about the fun stuff too. That's very fun, but Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year. For those listening and 24-year-old to get Rookie of the Year in the PRD network is a huge achievement. And that's an understatement. But can you share with the guys that are listening and the girls that are listening, what is Rookie of the Year? Why do I keep calling you Rookie every day?
So Rookie of the Year, it's essentially your first 2 years in the PRD network.
Okay.
/ real estate. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's 81 offices in the network. So anyone that joins our network in the first 2 years has a crack at Rookie of the Year. Yeah. So the strategy behind it is in your first year of real estate, as you'd know, you start prospecting when you start in January. Mm-hmm. You don't list anything for about 3 months. By the time you list it, you sell it in September. Half a year's gone. Mm. The reason it's 2 years is it gives you the opportunity to hit the ground running in your second year. Yeah. Which is why it's been a goal of mine for over 2 years. Yeah. From when I first started in 2024. It is based off gross commission, so GCI. Yeah. And every year there's a different number of rookies. So it's not age based or location based. I'm versing or up against people within the network that are of all ages, all backgrounds, all different markets. Yeah. But to cut a long story short, essentially it's your first 2 years in real estate / the network. Yeah. And they calculate the gross commission received in the second year. Correct. Yeah, correct. So January it's not a total. To December. Yeah. Each year you might have a really good first year, but it's rare that you'll get it in your first year. Yeah. But yeah, your best chance is the second year because you have settlements coming from your first year in January, February, March.
And for those listening, after the second year, how many other shots do you get to be Rookie of the Year?
You don't. You get one shot, and that's why I wrote it on my whiteboard, and it was there for 2 years. When we found out that it was at Gold Coast Casino, I had Rookie of the Year, Gold Coast Casino 2026.
Yeah.
So
and when did you write that up on that board?
It would have been about 12 months ago when we found out that it was going to be at Gold Coast. So that just added a bit more visual around it.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm a bit of a visual person. So I would see it every day and I'd update my numbers underneath it every single day, which, every day's hard, not every day's easy. And, in real estate, you're on an emotional roller coaster. So when I was at the bottom of that slope, I'd look up and see the big goal in bright lights, I suppose you could say.
Yeah, visual. Yeah. So I've got so many questions. And the first being, of course, goal setting. So you mentioned that you're a visual person, and I'm sure there'll be many listeners and watchers today that are also visual. And that's the reason with this podcast, The Long Game, it's not just audio, but it's visual and audio because some people consume better content visually. So how important was it for you to have a physical goal in front of you that you could watch and see every day?
It's very important. Like you said, everyone learns differently. Yeah. But I'm very driven around what I can see. If I can see it, I can speak it. And if you see it, believe it, if you believe it and speak it, you believe it as well.
Yes.
So,
and that's why people talk about self-talk,
Yeah, 100%.
That internal
manifestation.
Yes.
I don't believe in sitting there and making your future happen just by waving a wand. But if you can visualize it, you'll believe it. Yeah. And as you know, I told everyone that I was getting Rookie of the Year from 2024.
Yes.
Guy, for the people that are listening, Mark, quote unquote, said, "Oh, Flynn, it's very hard." And I went, "Well, thanks for believing in it." But no, Mark was obviously one of my biggest supporters. But
trying to set expectations just in case, but you blew it right out of the water.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah, it was big and scary, but it was something that it allowed me to remain focused. And as you know, outside of work, last year was probably one of my hardest years of my life with what was going on, but it allowed me the opportunity to stay focused and continue to strive towards something as well.
Whilst we're talking about things like that, like mindset, what are some healthy habits that assisted you along the way? Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't a short-term goal. 2 years is a pretty long time in a lot of, especially as a young person, it's 10% of your life if you're in your 20s. So you've attributed 10% of your life to this goal that you may or may not get. What helped you to sort of keep you on track as far as mindsets, habits, things that you did?
Yeah, I borderline became obsessed with it. Now, I know outside looking, it's probably not that big of an award, but it was more of an opportunity to prove myself that I could achieve something like that. But I went into a lot of detail. So I only drank water during the week. I was in the office at 7:30 every single morning for 2 years. Now that I'm fortunate enough to employ an assistant, Sam, I've pulled back a little bit and have a more productive 9 to 5. But 7:30 in the morning till 5 o'clock, absolutely no excuses during the week. Protein during the day, so I wouldn't be lethargic in the afternoon, and I'd have my carbs at night. Gym three times a week. Just all of that so I could remain focused. But it's not where you end up, it's the journey. And I loved that part. Like at times I was thinking, my competitors are in front of me. There's this new guy. Someone at PRD conference mentioned that this guy's, going to smash it out of the water. And I'm like, well, what am I doing wrong? But it's 80% mindset and 20% implementation. So I felt as though so I could remain at my best and remain sharp, I had to dive into diet and, energy levels as well, because in your rookie year, you're up and down emotionally all the time. So I just wanted to remain as balanced as possible. And I did a lot of research in terms of diet and what you're consuming has a massive role and impact on that.
Yeah, well, it's I heard a quote the other day. if your house burns down, you can't get another house. You can if it's a house, physical house, but when we talk about our house, which is our body, if you burn the body down, you don't get another body.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And the regulation, like you said, emotional, service-based business, we deal with a lot of different people, and our emotions are really important. No one really, I suppose, if you're down and you're pitching for new business, are they going to want to list with you as a down person? It could just be a down day, but they don't know that, I suppose.
Of course.
They might they've got to make a decision on whether you're the right person for them. So that's really interesting that you went there around your body and your mindset, as opposed to these are activities that you do, because you're right, that's 20%.
Yeah, I worked out the hard way that it's probably 80% mindset, because your mindset controls your emotions. Some days you don't want to come to work. Some days you think, oh goodness, I don't want to deal with X, Y, Z, or there's lots of external factors. So if you have a mindset of that discipline and consistently turning up, it's a recipe for a great result.
There's a lot of, now you're talking about discipline, there's a lot of discipline crossover in sport and in business. And I know that both of those things play a big part in your life. Can you tell me more about your involvement in sport and your enjoyment around sport?
Yeah. As you know, I love sport. I love my UFC and rugby league.
Yes.
There's a lot of correlations between real estate sales teams and sporting teams.
Yeah.
In terms of everyone plays a role, and it wouldn't be a team without certain people. You have a team of 15 in rugby, you remove the fullback. The team isn't a team because, the other side has an advantage. Exact same as sales, around leadership as well. You take away leadership, where are you heading? It's the blind leading the blind. So I think everyone plays a role. Every role is important, right? From leadership, yourself, to our sales team, through to marketing manager, to sales support, and all those sorts of things. Off the back of that, what I have learned that's probably the most important is the consistency. In rugby, for example, you're constantly attacking the defensive line, and then, it'll eventually break through. You don't break through every time, but you're always working towards something. With rugby league, you have 5 tackles. You don't, expect to score on the first. Sometimes you do, but it might take to your 5th tackle to get through. So the consistency piece is definitely important. If a team's consistently working, you get consistent results. We're very lucky at PRD Tamworth. We have a large sales team, and everyone's relatively close as well, which allows us to run an effective sales team in terms of no one owns a buyer. Everyone works together and sells each other's properties, which, without that environment, we wouldn't be able to sell the number of properties that we sell each year.
You're right about the different players on the team. If you want advice around defence, you might speak to the forward pack in a rugby team.
Yeah.
If you want advice around attack, you'd speak to the back line, and vice versa. And I think coming back into our office, you're right. Like if you need help from an accountability perspective or from a support perspective, there's people you would go to. If it's how do I do this, there's people you go to. And we're, I suppose, fortunate in that sense, because teammates bounce off each other. Yeah.
And in addition to that, Mark, as well, I know you use this analogy quite a bit with the grand final analogy.
Grand final.
You don't rock up to a grand final and just run out. There's a process before that, the preparation, the training, the ins and outs, the review, the reflection, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We're very lucky, in addition to what I just said about our team, we train and catch up twice a week.
Yes.
Our big rocks.
Yeah.
And we're consistently training and staying on top of the forever changing real estate market, so we can perform for our clients.
Yeah.
So we can perform in a listing presentation to run the potential vendors through every option that they have as well. Yeah. You don't just turn up. There's a lot of things that go on in the background, and that's the importance of a team when you're all on the same wavelength.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, the grand final analogy is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the sport, anything sporting just seems to blend well with business.
Yeah.
And when you've got both at home and work, sometimes you just become a person. that takes from both and gives back to both.
Yeah.
Real estate, not always easy. I'm speaking to you as a young person in real estate. So you are Rookie of the Year. You're 24. You've done so much in a short space of time. For all our young listeners out there that will, and there'll be thousands of people watch theirs that are just like you, 20-something, burning desire to succeed, and somewhat don't have that sort of that grounding of the school of hard knocks and the mentorship that you've had. There would have been times over the period of your career where you might have doubted yourself, and I think everyone feels that way at times. What helped you push through any of those moments where you might have felt, I think you alluded to, it's pretty hard at times? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few stories.
Yes.
Like you just said, real estate it is hard.
Yeah.
I know everyone, or a large population of those people outside looking in have a perception of the typical real estate agent.
Yeah.
And, we sit here and say it's hard, and they're like, oh, come on, mate, X, Y, Z, can't be that hard. You just stick a sign up and it sells. But definitely times where I doubted myself. I have a funny story, which wasn't funny at the time, but it is now.
Okay.
It was 2024.
Yeah.
Around September, and as you know, that part of the year, lots of properties come onto market.
Yes.
Everything that's listed usually settles before Christmas. Everyone wants to be in their new home before Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, what I'd done consistently was prospecting.
Okay.
I fell in love with prospecting in your first year, and I had all these listing opportunities.
Yeah.
And long story short, I lost 8 listing presentations in a row. I'm not sure if you remember that.
I do remember that.
I was coming to you going, Mark, number 4. Mark,
Yeah.
that's the 5th time. Mark, 6th time. Anyway, I got to 8 listing opportunities that I lost in a row.
Yeah.
I have in my head, I'm here for a long time. I'm here for, the 10, 15-year benefits and being a part of this team, potentially partnership as well at PRD Tamworth. So knowing that it was a short-term pain for a long-term gain was, what kept me going. But just knowing that I had to keep turning up each day and, next job sort of mentality similar to sport if we link it back to that. But yeah, just being consistent and learning from my mistakes. I've done a lot of reflection. At that time, Mandy, our now coach, has been with us 2 years, started with myself. She taught me a lot around, just consistency and reflection.
Yeah,
so
gotcha.
reflecting and learning from those as well. I know when I lost those 8 in a row, you said, well, what are you doing wrong? We went for a walk and talked about product knowledge and presentation and all those sorts of things because I knew the listing pres back to front.
Scott's Road.
Yes. I knew the listing pres back to front like a script.
Yeah.
I could read it to you right now.
Yeah.
And you said, well, what about your product knowledge? And that's where, we consistently trained and, it hasn't been that bad since. So definitely learned something.
Yeah, and that's really good advice, I suppose, coming back to the sporting analogy. If a really, really good team loses 8 in a row, does it mean they're not a good team anymore?
No,
not at
all.
It means they've lost 8 in a row. What if they win 8 after that?
I think losing, not only in sport, but real estate and life, I personally look at it as an opportunity to reflect and grow. I get a little bit angry at myself when I make the same mistake twice because the first time gives you the opportunity to reflect and it's a lesson that's come to the surface.
Yeah.
It's the opportunity to take that on board.
Yeah.
When I lost those 8 in a row, I was reflecting, but I was just looking in the wrong areas.
Got you.
Then you just get back in the training room. And
so self-diagnosing is really important.
Yep.
Yeah, so reflecting as opposed to working in the business, working on the business.
Yeah, of course.
And solving whatever that is to then therefore, and that feels like yesterday.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
It was a while ago now.
Yeah.
And Rookie of the Year, to go from 8 in a row losses to doubting yourself to then achieving one of the best accolades you can in our network inside of 2 years. Pretty special.
Yeah.
It's the long game.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So for young people listening that might be unsure, like they've knocked off school, whether it be year 10 or 12, they're just not sure what to do with themselves. The world's their oyster, but they just need that sort of guidance. What would you recommend to them as far as finding a career path that's suitable to them? Like, what advice would
It's a
you?
good question because
Yeah.
it's a very hard age.
Yeah.
Coming through year 12, all your friends are going to uni or going overseas and going straight into a career path. To be honest, until about before I started here, I did not know what I wanted to do.
Yep.
I've done concreting, I've done concrete pumping, I've worked at SMW Kitchens, shout out to them.
Yeah.
I've done admin for a real estate agent as well. And I really fell into it, which is how I know and I'm confident on where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
A little story around it.
Yeah.
I went over to Canada, COVID hit, and I ran out of money, so I had to come home. COVID hit, so I had to start working for my father because I lived at home, had to do essential work.
Yeah.
I blinked and a couple of years went by and I was still concreting. And I always felt unsatisfied.
Okay.
I was thinking there has to be more to life than this.
Okay.
The early mornings, everything's cold, and I thought there had to be more to life than this.
Yeah.
But then I was playing footy and I broke my collarbone, and one of our family friends was a real estate agent, or is a real estate agent, and reached out and asked if I wanted to do some admin.
Okay.
Always had an interest in real estate, but never been exposed to it, so never really had that opportunity. Then, started doing it, did it for 6 months, and I sort of felt myself coming closer to it and connecting with it.
Okay.
I love speaking to people. I love helping people. Then, when you gave me the opportunity here at PRD, I implemented the work ethic from concreting, and it's obviously worked, but it's made me appreciate what I do now as well. I'm not out in the cold or in the heat. I'm in controlled temperature rooms.
You're able to benchmark, I suppose, what was for you and what isn't for you. And so in summary, maybe trying a few different things.
100%.
Yeah. Try a few different things. Work out what's not you and what is you.
But Mark, the good thing now, there is so many different jobs. I was having this conversation with one of my mates the other day, and they said, how did you know you wanted to do real estate? And I'm like, mate, you don't know until you do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I said, the good thing now is you can try 10 different jobs, even if you hate all of them or suck at them.
Yeah.
Who cares? At least you've worked out what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you were a tradie, nurse, or doctor. Or you went to uni.
Yeah.
Now you can be a podcast host.
Yeah.
You can go and work in the ocean. You can be a pilot. You can be a sales admin role. There are so many different and rare opportunities that open you up to cool lifestyles as well.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, try everything. What have you got to lose? If you don't know what you're doing, what have you got to lose?
Yeah.
So,
That's really good advice. So looking ahead now, so we're caught right up to reality where we are today, and looking forward next 10, 5, 10, 15 years, both personally and professionally, where do you see yourself going?
From right now, I'm in an accumulation stage.
Yes.
I want to collect a couple of assets.
Yes.
I do genuinely have an interest in real estate.
Yes.
We share that together,
Yes.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, do a little bit more traveling. I definitely want to grow my sales team to a team of 3. That's professionally.
Yeah.
Obviously, being a partner in PRD Tamworth is definitely up there as well with the current partners and a leadership role within the business. And then, build or buy my dream house in a number of years, and continue to operate at a high performance level consistently. Yeah. As I mentioned, consistency is quite important, and that's how you get results.
Yeah.
But also to be healthy as well. Although it's all well and good to work hard and have fun life outside of work, but health is ultimately the number one priority, is it not?
Really important. Yeah, and unfortunately, most people work that out when their health is not well.
Of course.
Yeah.
We're in such a great country full of opportunity. We have running water, we have fresh food that you can go down to the shops and access. Although fuel prices are high, we won't go there.
We might do more walks to Scott's Road appointments.
At the end of the day, we're in an incredible country full of opportunity, and you can do anything, and you just have to work hard.
That's really good advice for our listeners, and what an exciting next 5, 10, 15 years that you have laid out in front of you. But once again, it's that consistency piece that you keep talking about to access and unlock all those things.
Yeah.
And I love that you're up for the challenge. Just in closing, and I think you and I could talk for forever, especially if there's a couple of beers, then one thing I'm just thinking and channeling young Flynn, younger Flynn, even young Mark, listening to this, the access that people have to podcast, for example, to listen to people that they potentially want to be like. And there could be 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds that listen to you, Flynn, now and go, wow, I want that. That's something that I can see myself doing. What's your message to those people? What would you give them as a couple of takeaways to consider so that they could potentially look at mirroring and doing some version of what you've done for them?
In terms of real estate or?
Anything. Yeah. Real estate was the career path you took, but a career path. So both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
What advice you might give them to determine then thrive in whatever they decide to do?
Yeah. I think the number one most important thing is being accepting of a no, having a growth mindset. Now, that doesn't mean to try and grow and grow faster than you should, but something that I've really benefited from is reflection as well. Reflect. So if you're consistent and you make mistakes, you reflect, learn a lesson from it, then you're continuing to be consistent. There is really no barrier to what you can achieve.
Yeah.
Another answer would be look at your long-term goals and work back. So where do you want to be in 10 years? Okay, well, what do you have to do in the next 5 years? Okay, to be there in 5 years, what do you need to do in the next 4 years, 3 years, 2 years? What's the next 12 months look like? Okay, well, to do that, what do I have to implement daily? Okay, to operate at that level, what do I need to eat? And to operate at that level, what do I need to drink? What does outside of my life look like, my lifestyle? Just be consistent, growth mindset, and reflect.
And I like that you made the comment around being comfortable with the word no. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. I was really against rejection until I was in real estate.
Yes.
You definitely learned the hard way. When I first started and I got a few no's around appraisals, they cut me deep.
Yeah.
And I'd say to you, like, what do I do? And you're like, well, mate, your skin will get thicker.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, hopefully it gets thicker pretty quick.
Yes.
Hopefully it gets thick quick.
Yes.
And just falling in love with the word no. You know, it's not a no, it's a not yet.
Yeah.
Really. And if it is a no, then what can you work on to turn it into a yes? But not only in sales, but life consistently says no around everything. You know, you walk outside and you want to be warm and it's cold. You know, there's negativity everywhere. So falling in love with that and working with it, just turn it into a small yes, and the yeses get bigger.
Well, on that note, what an incredible way to finish up our first chat on this podcast, The Long Game. Thank you for coming on, mate. And I got a lot out of this, and I'm sure our listeners did also. And I look forward to chatting to you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers.